for tuning in. This is Von Sports. My name is Salisu Mohammed, your anchor for this edition of Von Sports. And our focus for this edition is we're going to review African exits of the 2023 Women's World Cup in faraway Australia and New Zealand. And we'll look at Afrobasket. The DTigress of Nigeria has become another African champion. And Sean Pablo will be telling us more about updates on hockey in Nigeria. With me here live in our studios, I have four gentlemen, two ladies, and a guy with us. On my right, I have sports journalist Temitakwe Mustafa. You're welcome to Von Sports.
Thank you so much, Salisu.
And close to me, I have Hawa Gidado, a sports journalist. You're welcome to this edition of Von Sports.
Thank you.
And far away, I have a talk expert, a commentator, and a writer of sport analysis based in Abuja, Nigeria, Sean Pablo. You're welcome to this edition of One Sports.
Always a pleasure.
All of us together, we watched this round of 18 between Nigeria and England live. On Sunday, it was South Africa, the first African country to get knocked out of the competition by Netherlands. They beat South Africa by 2-0, and Nigeria have to slog it till 120 minutes when we went on penalties, and England were able to subdue us. They had 4 shots, they scored 4, they lose 1, but we just scored 2, and that made England to progress to the last 8. So Pablo, when you watch this game, what did you went wrong?
Well, I would rather start from things that actually went right. First off, you see that Nigeria made a record of becoming the first African team to qualify to the knockout stages without losing a game. We also became the very first African team not to concede in 2 games in the group stages. These are records which, of course, can naturally provide the optimism going forward. Nigeria, of course, have announced herself as a powerhouse when it comes to women football. So many times, the only country in Africa to have made it through to all the FIFA World Cups for women. And again, coming into this game, a lot of expectations whereby that European champions was going to roast the Super Falcons of Nigeria in a way that they came into the tournament becoming one of the most expected teams to win this tournament. I mean, we look at the likes of Canada, the likes of Germany, the likes of United States of America. A couple of big teams are already out, and so the English, the already Three Lionesses of England, are looking forward to see, okay, they could become champions. So playing against this very dogged Nigerian side was a huge test, a litmus test that they were supposed to pass. Well, they did pass it, but of course, you'd also give kudos to Super Falcons of Nigeria. Playing out the game against England, it was very, very tough. We had 18 shots against their 12. We also had 39 possession to their 61. When you look at the pattern at which we played, you realize that we just didn't have the pinpoint attacker to actually have it happen for it, because we had a game plan, block down the defense line, and then use the flanks to be able to cause trouble in the defense line of the opposition by dinging the ball right in the box 18. And that kind of worked. If you look at the numbers, 28 crosses were made into that box 18 against England's 18. So we really worked them out. We showed them that we had actually give them fight for fight and give them whatever it was going to take. But seeing that we didn't have that pinpoint attacker, that person was going to be the poacher, that person was going to be the finisher. I think that's exactly where we just couldn't get it right for our team. But for me, I think the girls have given a good account of themselves. It's just about looking forward now.
Mustafa, Sean Pablo have dished out a lot of statistics that pointed out England were the favorite to win this game. And going forward, Nigeria is one of the underdog. But when the game started, we now discovered that, or the English players now discovered that Nigeria is not just a country that they just could push over that way. But what actually happened was that at the 87 minutes, when England got red card, they were reduced from 11 to 10 players in the field. What was in your mind? Were you thinking that Nigeria was able to kind of pull through and win this game?
Well, anyone would just know that that was an opportunity for Nigeria to prove to the world that we could do it.
Yeah.
Yes, we did the much we could do, but that opportunity, to me, I would say it was wasted. Because if you had 10 players to 11 players, and then you had an attacker removed from that place, why are you not taking up the opportunity to launch offensive and take the long passes through the wings, and then you make the goal happen, because we had no reason to actually pull in to the 15 minutes or the extra times at all. For me, they actually gave it a good fight. It was a good outing. Nobody would doubt the fact that English team, they are the stronger, they are formidable team. You know, they remain that household name, and they've been there. But for me, I believe it was an opportunity for Nigeria to reaffirm that we remain the hub of football in Africa.
Yeah, but what get that though, you watched following up of this 2023 Women's World Cup and all the intrigues, the excitement that come through with it, and now we'll have only one African country remaining. Morocco will be playing on Tuesday, but the two strong among them, has been knocked out. South Africa and Nigeria today. And going forward now, what is the future of women football in Africa, especially with 3 African countries for the very first time going to the round of 16?
Watching what happened today, first of all, I would like to say I am proud to be Nigerian, and I really support the women, the way they came out, and they tried their best. You could see they tried their best, and for the first time they made history, and I'm proud of that. But just like Tomitope said, they had so many opportunities, but they just missed it. But they fought really hard to the end of the match, and I'm proud, and I will probably wear my jersey tomorrow. I'll probably do that.
Sorry, as we're trying to say now,
Yes.
the future of women football in Africa, is very bright.
It is very bright.
That's great.
It is very bright.
We're looking forward to this World Cup, and there are other competition that will still come up.
Surely.
And I hope and I believe that the crop of players that we see, but especially in South Africa and Nigeria, should be able to kind of play actively for the next 4 years. I think we have gotten the right team that could put a very good fight at the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, who knows, the next World Cup could be time for Africa. And again, women, more especially the Nigerian women, are really making the country very proud. We're talking about football and what the Super Falcons have done. Another woman again in faraway Rwanda, Kigali. That's the DTigress basketball now. They have equaled the record of Senegal by winning the Afrobasket and the championship 4 times in a row. Sean Pablo, the pointer before this tournament, because of what is happening with the Federation of Basketball in Nigeria, and what happened when we supposed to go for the FIBA World Cup, but we could not go because of the internal crisis, and the right now was given to another country. I know we're expecting now to see Econo demoralize the Tigers, but did it come as a surprise?
It did come as a surprise to me, because the Tigress have got this character of the Niger spirit. And when you have the Niger spirit, it talks about the tenacity, it talks about the persistence, it talks about the resilience, it talks about the never die spirit. That energy to always forge ahead, that energy to look at your daredevils in the eyes and say, hey, I'm going to go past you. I don't know where you're going to put in front of me, but I am going past you. And just what happened. Look at the way they started their campaign in group stages. Went all the way, got all 4 points that they required to get, and they went into the quarterfinals against Mozambique, one of the toughest games of this Afrobasket season, and they went out there to defeat the Mozambique by 7 points, 59-52. And it was much more an easier task when they got into the semis, when they played against Rwanda, the host nation, and then they went past them in a breezy fashion. That tells you that this team is not here to
For the tea
football.
party.
you know what I mean? And then they got into the finals, and Senegal, who were supposed to hold down their own record, were actually to the slaughter by 10 points, 84-74. Amazing stuff. Look at the way they began the game. In the very first quarter, they had already got into 19-10, and by the first half of the game, the DTigress were already leading by 16 points in that game, 43-27. So all of the numbers just come to say that these girls knew what they were going out there for. They knew exactly what they wanted. It was a clear mandate, and they become an African side that become very, very formidable. And right now, the whole world is going to talk about them, because having missed the chance to Mali in the way that they did, naturally you expect that their confidences will be dampened upon. But when they came back, I think they're even better than they were the last time.
This game will have 4 groups, 3 each group, making total of 12 teams that participated in this Afrobasket ball in Kigali. And the first 2, that's now Nigeria and Senegal, now have automatically qualified to participate in the next qualification for Olympics now. Going forward now, I mean, what are your expectations now from the team?
Well, this is a team that was denied at the FIBA World Cup, so it will be a moment of redemption, a time whereby they're going to go back there and look forward to that thing that they lost at the FIBA World Cup. They have to be able to get it back right now. This is the only moment that they can make it happen, and it doesn't come any better. Most of our players come from the United States of America. Most of them play in the Women National Basketball Association, the WNBA. So they know what happens there in the United States. They know about the basketball in America, and the Olympics is going to be in America, Canada, and Mexico, of course. So I expect that they will be going all out there and making much more of a statement, even bigger than the Afrobasket.
Any message that you have for the girls out there for the qualification for the Olympics?
Well, I just want to tell them that they can do much more. Because when you look at the spirit behind Wakama herself, the coach, you would know that she remains the spirit. She appeared to be the spirit behind the team, and I wasn't surprised at the delivery, because her eyes is on something, and the girls, they are seeing beyond the Afro whatever it is.
Basketball.
The aim is to launch themselves to the world and say, look, we are coming to reclaim what we lost. And I tell you, this team, they are going to sponsor.
Any message for the girls?
The Tigress, they've shown us that what a man can do, a woman can do better.
Oh, better say that again.
You know, when watching this a game of football between Nigeria and the Three Lionesses of England, each I want to talk. How was shot me and said, "This is what women are doing." How about the Super League?
Oh, the Super League. Tell me about
it. That's great for going forward. That's Sean Pablo. We don't have much time here. I want also you to take time to give us an update on the hockey activities going on around the country.
Well, it was a fantastic outing. I mean, the Nigeria Hockey Federation, as the NHF National Super League, played out on Saturday for the very finals of it. I mean, we saw a total of 20 teams come in, 11 in the men category, 9 in the women category, and 2 different pools in each category. And at the end of the day, it came down to the biggest finals, where we had Kada Stars of Kaduna State play against Police Machines in the finals in the men category. And then it was Kada Queens who went away to play against Delta Queens in the finals of the women category. It all panned out in a very fantastic fashion, seeing the women that take to the pitch for the very first finals, where Esther Njoku, a rioting a hockey player, fantastic field player. I mean, the way she actually scored the first goal in the first quarter, and she actually consolidated that effort in the second quarter, scoring the second goal, and then giving Kada Queens an advantage that they took past the first half, and then took it into the second half, and then with a very, very dominant defensive display from the Kaduna Bay side, they were able to see past the very first Nigerian team to play in the finals of the Africa Cup for Club Champions. Talk about the ACC, talk about Delta Queens. And of course, what Kada Queens were able to do by winning that first finals, defeating Delta Queens in the finals 2-0, was able to propel the men team of Kaduna State. Talk about Kada Stars, and they also went all the way to do a magic shocker against Police Machines. I mean, Police Machines were actually tipped the favorite of the tournament, coming out into the way that they did, scoring 29 goals in only 5 matches, and then finished their group tops. Maximum 15 points they got into the quarterfinals. It was a massive 8-0 demolition of the opposition, and the semifinals was 4-1, super high scoring side. But it was surprising to see that Kada Stars were able to tame them in the very first half. Police Machine scored a goal, an own goal actually, scored by a Kada Star player, and Kada Star replied almost immediately, equalized that goal, scored another one, put another one to it, 3-1, and we got it to the point. And then Kada Stars had to do it 4-2. I think hockey for Nigeria is beginning to have that leverage that it does deserve, and I'm very, very proud for what the president of the Federation, Nigeria Hockey Federation, talk about Engineer Simon Com and his penible secretary, I like to call him, Professor Osoha. What they're able to do, I mean, they can only take it up now, and I wish the players very, very best of luck.
There are viewers out there. That is it on this edition of Von Sport. But before we go, I must thank sport journalist Temi Tokwe Mustafa. Welcome. Thank you for participating in this edition of
It's a pleasure.
Von Sports.
It's a pleasure.
And I must thank Hawa Gidado, another journalist with Voice of Nigeria. Thank you for participating in this edition of Von Sports.
You're welcome.
And far away from her, I have Sean Pablo, who is a talk expert, a sport commentator, and writer of sport analysis. Thank you for participating in this edition of Von Sports.
Can't have enough.
My name is Salisu Mohammed. Join us next week for another fresh edition of Sport Review from Von Sports, Voice of Nigeria. Thanks for tuning in, and goodbye.
And side footed into the bottom corner.